Hi, am I on the air?
Yep.
Fuck.
Thanks.
I've been in the danger zone.
He got a bath.
Minus 5 stars.
Mango.
Huh? Yeah, we got to use that.
Jeff Harvey.
How much does this guy weigh?
Play.
We'll play 21.
Fuck him.
Well, what is going down, everybody? Welcome to Am I Still on the Air? You know what it is. It's the spin-off show of my weekly program, Am I on the Air, which covers all your news and all the stuff going down in the entertainment world. Am I Still on the Air is a little spin-off. It's a little bit more focused. Typically, over the summertime, it was all based on movie reviews. We were doing spoiler reviews, running down full-on spoiler discussions of all the big movies over the summer. And now that the summer season's over, I figured it is time. Now, this is something I usually would do on an Am I on the Air episode, but there's been so much news lately going on that there's not much time to really devote to anything but the news in a normal episode. So I figured, what better than to dedicate just an Am I Still on the Air that will focus on one subject, which will be, now that the summer's over, the top films of the summer. Now, every summer I always do a list, usually before May, of my most anticipated films of the summer, and I'll rank down every movie and kind of see where I think they're going to land, what I'm most excited about, and then after the summer's over, we'll discuss where everything actually landed, because, sometimes you'll be shocked at, things you had really high on your list, and then things you had low that ended up surprising you and took the top of the list. So this episode is all about how everything landed. So I saw 20 movies this summer, so I will be counting down all 20 films. And I also have a special guest with me, the man who saw probably most of these films with me this summer. And so I'm happy to have him on. You've heard me talk about this episode for the last couple eps of Am I on the Air? So Geeky Pat from This Week with the Geek is here, Red Dragons Radio, and he saw 15 movies, so he'll count down his 15, I'll count down my 20, we'll see what we kind of matched up on, what we didn't, and kind of go from there. But welcome to the show again. What up, Geeky Pat?
What up, Geek Nation? I'm glad to be on. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, you know it, man. So very happy to have you on. It'll be cool to discuss these films. Obviously, we discussed a lot of them just from doing the spoiler reviews over the summertime. Yeah. And, so I already know what you enjoyed and what you didn't for the most part. But it's always interesting to kind of go back and see how everything kind of landed when we got to the final list here. So I'm going to try to pull up my anticipated list as well and kind of see if I landed kind of close to that as well. So the way we're going to do it here is, so like I said, I saw 20 movies and Geeky Pat saw 15. So I'm going to run down 20 to 15, just pretty quick here on my own. And then when I get to 15, me and him will kind of bounce back and forth, going down our numbers all the way to the number one spot. So without further ado, let's get it cracking. I'm going to start with number 20. And number 20 for me is Into the Storm. So let me look at my anticipated list. Now I'm curious to see where I had that one at. Into the Storm, I actually had a number 20 on my anticipated list. But then again, I also had 25 movies on my anticipated list. So there was a couple I did not end up getting to. But yeah, Into the Storm was number 20 on my anticipated, and it was number 20 here after the summer was over. This one, I believe, I gave 2 stars to, 2 out of 5 stars. This was the movie that was about the storm trackers and all the tornadoes and everything. I thought it looked like a fun little ride. I really like disaster films, and when I saw this one, I was like, man, I'm totally down to see this. I mean, the trailer had me pretty stoked for it. And then if you heard our review, you know that unfortunately, the trailer gave every single big moment away for this film. Everything you see in the trailer is all the big moments from the movie. So the movie just kind of filled in the gaps with a lot of boring content that was not needed. Because all the big moments were the things you already saw and you already knew what was coming based on the trailer. So that was the big disappointing factor here for Into the Storm. So yeah, it was a little bit of a bummer. Only two out of 5 stars for me. This was the lowest ranked movie of the summer for me, and I know I also saw this with Geeky Pat. So, what you want to say about Into the Storm?
It's my 15th movie. I can tell you, A Walk Amongst the Tombstones. Lucky it was a few weeks after the summer because it would have been underneath this one. Yeah, I love storm movies. I was excited. I remember turning to you and said, I'm a sucker for it, man. We got to go see it. And you're like, me too. We went and saw it. And if it wasn't for the tornadoes and some of the action scenes, even though they were all in the trailer, I probably would have gave it less than 2 stars. But it carried itself okay, and definitely think it's a 2-star movie. I think there's some weird dialogue and some weird scenes that could have been cut out. And I think the movie, how do I put it? It could have been told less chaotic, and the hillbillies could have been removed. You know. Other than that, I mean, it had a lot of potential. It just didn't live up to it.
Yeah, it definitely did. It tried to tell too many stories and too many subplots, and it should have just focused on the storm chasers and just left it at that.
Yeah.
Alrighty, well, number 19 for me, and this was number 18 on my anticipated list, so I'm sticking pretty close here. The number 19 for me is Tammy. Tammy is the Melissa McCarthy film where basically she loses her job and then she holds up the place that she used to work at and steals the money, and it's also like this road trip with her grandma. It was okay, you know, I mean, I wasn't expecting much from Tammy, but it had some decent laughs come out of it. This was like a 3 out of 5 star film for me. It was good. I probably wouldn't buy it. I'm a big Melissa McCarthy fan though, so that kind of, you know, she suckers me in, even though I know a lot of people are like, man, she plays the same character all the time. And it's true, but there's just something about the way she carries out the delivery of her comedy. She's very physical, and it just, I don't know, it sucks me in. And this film also had Susan Sarandon and Kathy Bates and Allison Janney. It was directed by her husband, Ben Falcone, who he's hilarious in his own right. He actually played her boss in the film. And, you know, like I said, it actually turned out to be better than I thought it would be. But, you know, in the grand scheme of everything over the summer, it was 19 out of 20 for me. I know Geeky Pat did not see this one, so I'm going to move on to the next film. Number 18 for me, and this was, let me see on my list here. This was actually, so like I said, I had 25 on my anticipated list. This was actually number 24 on my anticipated list, so it was kind of at the bottom there, but it ended up being number 18 for me, and I actually really liked this movie, but once again, when you lay it out compared to everything else over the summer, it kind of fell to the bottom there. But number 18 for me is Blended. Blended is the Adam Sandler, Drew Barrymore film that came out back in May. Basically, they go on a blind date, they hate each other, they end up getting to go on this vacation to Africa, and they got to kind of deal with each other and their kids, and it's a kind of a romantic comedy, and you know what's going to happen out of that. But, you know, for me, I'm a big Adam Sandler fan. Say what you want. I know a lot of people over the last couple of years have kind of, you know, fallen off the Adam Sandler bandwagon, but I've been such a big fan of this dude from SNL to, you know, Billy Madison, Happy Gilmore days, that I've really just followed along and kind of kept up with his career. And if there's one thing I've really, really liked is his chemistry with him and Drew Barrymore. I think their chemistry is amazing. I loved Wedding Singer. That's probably my favorite Adam Sandler film of all time. And
Mine too.
Yeah, so good. And Drew Barrymore, I fell in love with her so much in Wedding Singer. She was like the perfect woman in that film. And then they did 50 First Dates together, and I love 50 First Dates as well. So they just have a really good chemistry. And when I saw they were going to do a movie together again, I was completely on board. And I really, really liked this film. I actually did buy this one. This one is out on Blu-ray now. I bought this one. I've already rewatched it. I took my stepdaughter to see this when it came out in the theaters, and she loved it. She's a big Adam Sandler fan now, and so pretty much any movie that comes out with him. I mean, she loves Grown Ups, and she even loved Jack and Jill. It's one of her favorite movies ever, and she's just every time she does. I don't even think she really gets what his real name is, but when she sees his face, she's like, I want to go see that instantly, and it's pretty cool. But Blended was awesome, and I kind of feel bad that it's number 18 out of 20 on my list because I really did enjoy this film. I think I gave it 3.5 stars when I rated it, and it has a really good heart, and I really just, once again, great chemistry. So Blended was number 18 for me. You did not see Blended, right?
No, but one thing to say is, I mean, just because it's at the bottom of the list doesn't mean it was a horrible movie.
Exactly.
There's just that many good movies in front of it, that's all. I mean, I noticed that when I was making my list. Some movies I really liked started getting closer and closer to the bottom.
Yeah, exactly, and that's one thing I really wanted to point out was, just because it's low there doesn't mean it's bad. It's just, it's like when you count down the Marvel Cinematic Universe. You're going to have a movie at the bottom. It doesn't mean you hate it. It just means like there's just other stuff that was better. All right, so number 17. Now, this was my number 16 most anticipated film of the summer. So sticking once again pretty close here. Number 17 goes to Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. This was pretty decent. I still feel like I need to see it again. I saw this one with Geeky Pat, and we saw it in 3D, and I truly feel the 3D took away from it for me. It made the film super dark. It was hard to follow the action. It was kind of blurry at moments, and it had its moments for me. It was like really cool, and then it got boring, then it was cool, and it was boring. One thing I'll say is I loved the look of the turtles. I thought the turtles were really cool, thought the voice acting was cool, thought the action was pretty cool. It was just this up and down roller coaster ride for me where I liked it, hated it, liked it, hated it, liked it, hated it. I definitely want to give it another try. I think it was a decent enough film. I probably will end up still buying this one when it comes out on Blu-ray. But yeah, it was number 17 for me. So what you got on TMNT, Pat?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles fell on 10 on my list, out of 15, of course. So, for me, I did, when I saw it, I walked out of there thinking, it was an alright movie, but you're right, the 3D hurt it, because I went back and saw it with my kids in XD, which wasn't 3D at all, and it was very bright and a big screen, and it was so much better. I mean, I saw things I didn't see before. There was, times in the 3D movie where, like Shredder was talking, and I couldn't even read. It was so blurry and dark, I couldn't even read what he was saying, and in the other, when I saw it in the other theater, the whole storyline kind of made sense. So I think some of it got taken away because we couldn't see it. Some of the fight scenes were kind of blurry in 3D, so it was much better in the XD. So I'm sure it was the 3D that hurt it for you as well. But I did have that same kind of feel. There was parts of the movie I just felt like didn't need to be in there. It's just kind of boring. It didn't really add to the story. But when it was on, it was on. It was a pretty good movie in that sense.
Yeah, for sure. All right, well, we're up to number 16 for me, and 16 actually on my anticipated list was my very dead last movie. This was number 25 out of 25 on my anticipated list. Number 16 for me after everything was said and done, and that is, unfortunately, one of the biggest bombs of the entire summer as well, which was Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. This was the sequel to the first Sin City, and it was just 9 years too late. Nobody went and saw this film. It made under $10 million, and it's the entire theatrical run. And movies make that in just midnight showings. That's how crazy this is. But you know what? I actually really enjoyed it. I had a good time with this. I thought the 3D was excellent. Speaking of how much 3D sucked on Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, it was excellent for Sin City, and really, really enjoyed it. Shout out to Eva Green, who gets naked in 90% of the film, and she is gorgeous and has one of the best bodies in the business right now. She saved 300 Rise of an Empire, and she saved Sin City: A Dame to Kill For. So thank you, Eva Green. But you know, it was pretty cool. It was done in that same type of style. It was the 4 kind of short stories. Some of them were prequels. One was a sequel to the original film. And like I said, I had a good time with it. I didn't love it. I didn't hate it. It was like a 3 out of 5 for me. Actually, I gave it 3.5 because that was because of Eva Green. You know, I almost gave it a 4 just for Eva Green, but I didn't want to, you know, have that much of a curve on the rating just because of the female. But yeah, it was a good time, and I think if you were a fan of the first Sin City movie, you'll definitely love A Dame to Kill For. So, you know, Geeky Pat was supposed to join me for this film, but ended up having to miss it at the last second, so he did not get to enjoy A Dame to Kill For, and especially Eva Green.
Yeah, and I did want to see this movie, although I do feel like it took way too long for it to come out as a sequel. You know, I mean, I almost forgot about the first one and actually watched it again before I went to see, a couple of days before we went to see this one, and then I got sick and couldn't go. But I don't know, I felt like it was way dated at that point, but I didn't get to see the movie, so maybe it wasn't.
Yeah. But like I said, I mean, if you're a fan of the first one, you'll like this one. I don't think there's any doubt about that. All right. Now we're hitting 15, so we're going to start rattling down our movies here. And let's see. I'll go 15, you go 15. And then you can still talk about the film if you've seen it with me, but don't disclose what number you have it at yet.
Okay.
Until you get to that number, and then you can just kind of run it down again. But okay, so number 15 for me is actually my number 8 most anticipated film. So this one here does have a big difference because I was really anticipating this, and it ended up letting me down quite a bit. And that number 15 for me is The Expendables 3. The second this was announced and I started to see the casting, I was all about it. I mean, I'm a big fan of the first two, especially the second one. I love Expendables 2. It is so good. Where they started to go wrong was I saw it was a PG-13, and I was kind of like, oh no, here we go. Because this was a big rumor of Expendables 2, is that it was going to be a PG-13 film. And thank God they kept it R. You know, the reason I love these films is because they're such a homage to, you know, the 80s action film, big, blow 'em up, over the top, blood, guts, you know, and they watered it down and they made it PG-13, and they were only allowed the one F-bomb, and there was no blood, and it just kind of just fell to the wayside. And then on top of having to deal with the PG-13 rating, this movie focuses a lot on a new, younger Expendables type cast. So all your favorites, like Jason Statham and Dolph Lundgren and Jet Li and, you know, Randy Couture, they get pushed completely out to the side, you know, and you barely see them in the entire movie. And I'm forgetting his name right now, but what's his face that was only in the film for like 5 minutes?
Terry?
Yeah, Terry Crews. I love Terry Crews in this franchise. And literally, he's in like one scene, and then he gets hurt, spoiler alert, and goes into the hospital for the rest of the film. And you don't see him again to the very end. And I was like, man, that sucks, dude. So you lose out basically on everything you love of the first two films, which is The Expendables. And, you know, it had its moments. I'll say that the addition of Wesley Snipes was amazing. The addition of Antonio Banderas was amazing. Those two guys really stole the show for me. Mel Gibson as the villain was great, but once again, it just dragged without the original cast, and the rating watered it down a lot for me. So definitely my least favorite of the franchise, and unfortunately, only number 15 for me when everything was said and done. So, Pat, you saw this with me. What was your take on Expendables 3?
It started off good. I'm not one that advocates I like all R-rated movies. There's movies that I didn't like. I hated the fact this wasn't an R-rated movie. There's parts with Wesley Snipes I wanted to see him do his thing, and it was like, we'll turn the camera now. Oh, we'll turn the camera again now, and like you have to assume he's being, just total awesome martial artist, because you don't get to see him kill anybody. I think if Antonio Banderas wasn't in this movie, I probably would have liked it less, because he really, really made the movie for me. I felt like I was watching a B movie with an A budget. Which is bad, because like the first two were like that 80s over the top, still cool, and this one was like, I want to be an 80s movie, but I'm going to be hipper and cooler, and it was kind of like a bad Mission Impossible movie at points, and I like Mission Impossible, so I don't know. I mean, for me, I think PG-13 really hurt it. I think that me watching a bunch of, I think I besides Antonio Banderas of the new crew, I only really recognized that Ronda Rousey girl. I don't even remember who the other people were that were in the movie.
Exactly, and that's the problem, is that if you're going to go with the younger, hipper crew, at least pull out some people that people know. It was such a no-name cast, except for Ronda Rousey. You also had Kellen Lutz, who was in the other Hercules movie that came out.
Oh, yeah.
But other than that, yeah, I mean, the other guys were like, who? And it's like, if you're going to be replacing Jason Statham and Terry Crews and Randy Couture and Dolph Lundgren and all these guys, get some names in there at least.
Yeah, and really, I forgot about that guy because he was so unmemorable in the movie to me. I mean, and Jet Li, I don't even know why he was in the movie. He was just very disappointed. It was almost like we have to put him in the movie somehow. To me, it was a very disappointed. I won't tell you where it's at, but it didn't make the bottom, but it's definitely not near the top. I still had fun watching it, so I don't want to say like it was this horrible ride or anything. It was still very fun, but again, I felt like I was watching something that was made for Netflix, like it made fun of the Expendables. Those little B movies that make fun of the movies that are out, kind of felt like that. I mean, it didn't give me the punch and the pack especially the second one was so good, and then I go to this one and it's like, So, yeah.
And unfortunately, it doesn't look like we're going to be getting an Expendables 4 anytime soon, because 3 did not do very well in the box office as well. They really dropped the ball on this one. Speaking of Jet Li, once again, it's another one that he's barely in the film, and when he is in the film, he does not fight anybody. He only shoots a gun, which seems like a gigantic waste of Jet Li's talent.
Yeah.
But yeah, so Pat, what do you got at number 15?
I have Into the Storm.
Oh, yes, okay, so we've already discussed it to this.
Yeah, there's really nothing
moving on.
It's the greatest trailer I ever made to watch.
Exactly. Just watch the trailer and you'll get it all. All right, number 14, ladies and gentlemen. Number 14 was my number 19 on my anticipated list. Number 14 for me is Lucy. Lucy is the Scarlett Johansson film with Morgan Freeman, where basically she gets kidnapped and they put these drugs inside her stomach, and then she ends up getting beat up, and the drugs kind of leak into her system and gives her massive brain power. It unlocks all the potential in her mind, and she ends up becoming super smart, and she starts getting these abilities, and she becomes wickedly badass like only Scarlett Johansson can. I really, really liked this movie up until about the last 20 minutes. And that's what is unfortunate, because people ask me all the time, what'd you think of Lucy? Should I go see it? And I'm like, because I hesitate, because it's like, man, for being a 90-minute film, I'm like, the first hour is amazing, and then the last 30 minutes just piss you off. So it's hard to recommend, but the first hour really should outweigh the last, but the last is just so stupid. Man, the ending to this film is retarded. And I just, it really took away from me. This was easily a 4-star film, and I ended up only giving it, I think, 3 or 3.5 when everything was said and done, because of just that ending. I could not help but be like, okay, you just insulted my intelligence. At this point, for a movie, it was like as her brain got more unlocked and she got smarter, the movie got dumber. And it's just like this is kind of weird. This shouldn't be happening like this right now. But Scarlett was great in it. It's a good action film, and if you can kind of just suck it up and get past the last 20 minutes, it's definitely something I would recommend. So Lucy comes in at number 14 for me.
I didn't get to see this one because someone didn't invite me. You kind of snuck off and watched it. without me. But yeah, I wanted to see it, and now that you've kind of told me, we talked about it earlier, and I'm like, yeah, I'll definitely probably either buy it or rent it, Redbox it or something. But it looked cool in the trailer, and Scarlett Johansson's just great to watch on film or cook soup. Doesn't matter if she's hot.
Yeah, watch her do anything.
Yeah, exactly. You want to vacuum the house? I'll watch.
All right, Pat. Well, what do you got at number 14?
Godzilla. Yeah. For me, how do I... If it wasn't for the end of this film, it would be at the bottom of my list. I never was a big fan of the original Godzillas, but the ones I did watch was him tearing up cities and people trying to stop him. And I was looking forward to that in this film. I'm a big Bryan Cranston fan. That's kind of one of the things I was excited about. They kind of take him out early on, so it's like you get really attached to him, and then he's gone. And I don't really care about any of the other characters up to this point. And it wasn't until the big boss Godzilla fight at the end that it kind of saved it for me. The whole, like, oh, I'm going to see Godzilla, and we'll close the doors. So we're going to see Godzilla, and we'll turn away. And it became a one-trick pony through the whole movie until we got to the Godzilla scene. So I wanted it to be better than it was. But because I've never seen the movie it's based on, people say it's paced the same way as that movie, but for me the pacing was really bad. And then like you got this great ending, which would save the whole film for me. And probably will be the reason why I'll buy the film ultimately in the end.
Yeah, I pretty much agree with everything you said. You know, I got Godzilla a little bit higher on my list, so we'll get to that later. But I actually, funny thing we bring this up, I just got Godzilla on Blu-ray today, so it is in my collection. But I feel exactly the same way as you. I mean, it was super slow. You know, the thing that really ticked me off, too, is, you know, I really like Aaron Taylor Johnson, who played Kick-Ass, and he's actually going to be Quicksilver in Avengers 2. He's a really good actor, but he was horrible in Godzilla.
Yeah, exactly.
He was super stiff, and it was like, I don't know, like, if it was just the way the director directed him, but he just seems so off his game in this movie, and it's hard to understand what happened there. Elizabeth Olsen plays his wife. Funny kind of tidbit is that, like I said, he's going to be Quicksilver, and she's Scarlet Witch. So they're brother-sister in Avengers 2 and husband-wife in Godzilla, which is kind of hilarious. But yeah, it's one of those things that it's like the pacing was slow. You see, you know, there's these other creatures in the film that Godzilla fights, and the movie is 80% those other creatures.
Yeah.
And then you finally get Godzilla in the last 20 minutes of the film. And it's like, what pissed me off was all the camera cuts, too. It was like, oh, there's Godzilla, and we're going to see this awesome fight. And the door shuts in your face, and you don't get to see the fight. Yeah. Oh, look, here's going to be this other awesome fight. And the camera changes to a little kid playing on the fucking railroad. Yeah. You know, it just like, they kept cutting away, and it's like, I kind of understand because they wanted to build up to it, and they really wanted to put the emphasis on that final battle and kind of give you, like, you know, the full thing at the end, but it was pissing me off because it was like, come on, man, like, there's all these cool fights that you're turning away, and instead I get more bullshit from the humans, you know? Like one of the big problems that people always bitch about Transformers is that, oh, it's too much of the humans and you don't get enough Transformers. Yeah. And unfortunately, that's really kind of what Godzilla faced, was that it was too much about the humans and not enough of Godzilla. You know, fans of the original, like, old school Godzilla really like this because they said, oh, that's just like the way the old school Godzillas were. It was very teased, and you get the payoff at the end. We were not getting a sequel to this film for another 4 years, but I feel like when the sequel does come, I think we'll get a lot more action in the sequel. This was the build-up, this was the tease, and like Pat said, I mean, the last 20 minutes are amazing, and it really saved the movie for me too. This was going to be like a 3-star movie for me, like barely, and then that ending was so badass that I gave this film 4 out of 5 stars.
We were cheering, if I remember.
Yeah, yeah. We saw this opening night in IMAX 3D, and the ending part just saved everything. Yeah. It was so good. So, yeah, Godzilla.
I was agreeing with Ken Watanabe the whole time. Let them fight!
Godzilla. Let them fight. So, alrighty, well, that is Mr. Pat's number 14. And like I said, mine, you'll get to Godzilla a little bit later. Number 13. And number 13 for me was actually my number 4 on my most anticipated list. So that's a big difference right there. Number 4, most anticipated, and it's number 13 overall. And it's The Amazing Spider-Man 2. This film let me down so much. And, I don't know, man. I was just kind of shaking my head after this film, and I'm not going to sit here and bash it, and I'm not going to say it's horrible. I still enjoyed it. But, the first Amazing Spider-Man is really, really good, and I loved Andrew Garfield as Spider-Man, and I was really looking forward to this sequel and seeing the introduction of these other characters. But, this movie really is covered with what I like to call the Batman and Robin syndrome, which is, these over-the-top villains. It's very comic booky, and it's like, we're not there anymore. In this age of comic book films, they're smarter films. They handle their characters better, and it's not that cheesy kind of like, ooh, let me get the Spider-Man, and it's like, and that's what this was. It was like Goblin was over the top, Electro was over the top, and Rhino was really over the top. It was just kind of like, oh, look at me, I'm the Rhino, come on, Spider-Man, I'm gonna get you, and it was just like, really, dude, come on, like, you're insulting my intelligence at this point. The movie is out on Blu-ray now, so you can check it out for yourself if you haven't seen it. And I actually bought this. I have it on Blu-ray. It's part of the collection. Like I said, I didn't hate it. And I'm looking forward to actually sitting down and watching it again here at home. I have not had a chance yet, but I think this might be one of those films that, from an expectation level, seeing it in the theater and IMAX and everything opening weekend, obviously I had high expectations for this. This was my number 4 most anticipated film of the summer. So that really could have let me down. But now that I've already seen it, and I don't really have those expectations anymore, I wonder if maybe, watching it at home, I'll have a different, takeaway from it. I just felt like it was too long. There was a lot of scenes that could have been cut out. And just in a summer of so many other good comic book films, and even though, unfortunately, we're not including it, Captain America the Winter Soldier has to be, just name-dropped at least. The movie came out in April, so that is not going to be on anybody's list because it does not count for the summer, but it's definitely one of the best films of the year if we looked at it that way.
Oh, yeah.
And so I mean, it's a little disappointing when it comes down to The Amazing Spider-Man 2 on this level here. So that was number 13 for me. What do you want to touch on for Amazing Spider-Man 2?
Well, I remember leaving the theater, I was pretty happy with it at first, and the more I thought about it, and I kind of talked to you about it, the more it kind of angered me somewhat, and let me explain. It wasn't like I was like, oh, this is a horrible movie, but it did insult me a little bit. Like, there's parts when it's like Paul Giamatti, he's an outstanding actor, what a waste. I mean, there's parts of the movie, I guess the word I'm looking for is forced. I feel like it's forced these characters in. I feel like I was forced down these story arcs that I shouldn't have been forced down. They gave Andrew Garfield Spider-Man a bat cave. I mean, I don't know. I mean, it was like there's times where he's just like creepily stalking Emma Stone. He can't make his mind up, and the whole time I'm thinking, I don't care. And they put his supposed friend, the Green Goblin, in there who really was only there to kill off Emma Stone. It was just...
Spoiler alert.
No, it's on DVD. I mean, Blu-ray at this point. But my whole thing is this: it wasn't as good as I thought it was when I walked out, and that's just looking back. I mean, the whole music with Jamie Foxx, it was cool at first, and then it just got redundantly old. I think you put it best. Like, all of New York is just dumbfounded. We'll just stare at everything dangerous and never run away until I'm about to die. Like crowds of people just watching battles. I don't think would happen. So yeah, I I don't remember what I said it was when I walked out, but now I would probably give it a 2 or a 3 in the end. And it's on my list somewhere, but I'll tell you when I get there. I mean, ultimately, the Spider-Man scenes are really fun. I love Andrew Garfield. Emma Stone is super hot and great to watch. But again, the villains kind of ruined it for me in the end.
Faux show. There's a lot more we can get into on Spider-Man. I feel like we still need to have the big conversation on the People's Forum and really dive into it, because our buddy Peeps, he really liked the film, and we go back and forth about this movie all the time. So he needs to have a special Spider-Man 2 episode where we can really dive into this one, because we can go on and on about this film. All right. What do you got number 13?
Maleficent, starring Angelina Jolie. Angelina Jolie, I always mess her name up. I took my kids to this. It was the most expensive movie I've ever been to, because they all saw it. We had to see it in IMAX 3D. It was also my wife's birthday, so it's when we went and saw it. And you know what? It's a fun movie. It really is. The kids loved it. It just isn't my type of movie. It really was aimed at a younger audience, I think. And there were some cool parts in it. It was acted very well, but most of the time I was like, hey, I can get him, go get the popcorn. Who wants a popcorn refill? I don't mind, because it didn't keep my attention, because it wasn't aimed for me, I think, as an audience. That being said, my little girl loved it. Even my oldest son, he loved it. So, I mean, it was a good movie, but for me, there was better movies, so it ended up at 13.
All right. Well, I did not see Maleficent, so I do not have that on my list. It was on my anticipated list, though, and it was number 23 out of 25. So I don't know what happened there with that one. I think it came out, and you had told me that you didn't really care for it that much when it came out, and some of the other people that had seen it said they didn't care for it too much, so I kind of just got soured on the film, and then said, never mind. Never bothered wasting time to go see it. All right, so number 12. Number 12 for me was number 14 on my anticipated list, and that is Hercules. Hercules with Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Not to be mixed up with the Kellen Lutz Hercules that came out back in January. I had a really good, fun time blast with this Hercules film. First of all, I love The Rock, one of my favorite actors going today. I'm a big wrestling fan. I've always been a fan of The Rock, and I've transitioned along with him into the world of film. And I know this was a passion project for him. He had a lot of love for this character. We also saw this in IMAX 3D, and I thought it was a beautiful-looking film. Action was awesome. Rock was amazing as Hercules, and it was just a fun time. It's really all it comes down to. The script wasn't like crazy good. It wasn't like the acting was Oscar caliber. It was just a fun time. I remember I think there was like 5 of us that went and saw this, and when we walked out, we were all just like, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
And that's really what it comes down to. I mean, that's what you really go to the theater for, is to have a good time. This was like a 4 out of 5 star for me, just based on that fun level. I thought The Rock killed it. So yeah, Hercules, number 12 for me. What you got on Hercules?
Well, it's later on my list, but definitely, I think with Hercules, for me, the twist was kind of cool. How they twisted how his legends and fables took place. But the acting was outstanding, and Rock himself, I'm a big Rock fan. He was, I went from Hulk Hogan to The Rock, right? That was my transition in wrestling. But he was not only like athletically perfect for this movie, but you could see the passion in it, and he really made the movie fun. All the other actors were funny or added to it. They really added to make his character stand out and pop. So it wouldn't have been the same movie without them, don't get me wrong. But it didn't reinvent the genre. I mean, it's a Hercules movie, but it was new enough from the other Hercules movies that it was still interesting enough for me to, because it still had all the same stories, the same myths, and the mythos, but it was done in a way that you're like, oh, I see that now, and you could see where the other people were added into the movie. So it just made it a lot more fun. And again, you're right, it was a blast. It was really fun.
Awesome. What do you got at number 12?
We actually covered it. It was The Expendables 3. I don't have anything more to add to it.
No, that's fine. We don't got to expand on it anymore. You just want to go through the numbers in order now.
Okay.
So, all right. So Expendables 3 at number 12 for Pat. So now we go to number 11. And number 11 was actually my number 12 on my anticipated list. So very nice. Number 11 for me is A Million Ways to Die in the West. This is the Seth MacFarlane film starring Charlize Theron with Liam Neeson, Amanda Seyfried. I love this movie. You know, this is one of those films that I've read a lot of reviews and I've seen a lot of like other movie review shows talk about, and I feel like everyone hated this film. Like, no one seemed to like it. All the reviews were like, it was so stupid and blah, 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 blah. I laughed my ass off at this movie, and I love Seth MacFarlane. I love Family Guy. I thought Ted was amazing. I can't wait to see Ted 2 next year. I hate westerns. I hate anything kind of in that genre. But the way that he did the comedy in this film, it's very current, you know, but just set in that time frame. I thought Charlize Theron was amazing in it. I thought Liam Neeson's the bad guy was brilliant. Sarah Silverman was in it, and she was amazing. Giovanni Ribisi. I mean, the cast was great in this film, and just a lot of the jokes were just so smart and witty, and you know, like even like the catchy stuff, like that song, like the a mustache. He had a mustache. Like
Neil Patrick Harris was awesome.
Yeah, Neil Patrick Harris singing this mustache song because it was like you had to be so cool to grow a mustache back then. It was just like it was so good, man. I had a blast with A Million Ways to Die in the West. I think this is coming out on Blu-ray within the next couple weeks, and I will totally be buying this one. And I saw the Blu-ray is an unrated version, so I'm like, hell yeah, I can't wait for that. I'm super stoked. I love this one. So, Pat, I know you saw this one with me as well. What's your take on A Million Ways to Die in the West?
Well, it's in my list still, but I wanted it to be higher, but just better movies came out. I mean, it was really fun. I mean, I didn't know what to expect, to be honest. I actually never seen Ted. I've always wanted to. It just got dropped in the whole thing of life. So I got to see it, I know. But I'm a big fan of Seth MacFarlane. So when I didn't know what I was going to get when I saw this movie, but it was worth going to see because he's a funny guy. But you know what? Not only was it funny, I genuinely liked the characters. I genuinely liked him. I felt bad for the guy whose wife was a whore. You know, It made it all funny though. I mean, and Seth MacFarlane has this way to make him likable. You know, he's just very likable in the movie. And so like anything that happened to him, and anytime he was in like danger, even though it was like funny danger, you kind of still felt bad for him. You kind of like worried about him, you know. So it wasn't just a all-out comedy, but it was still a good movie too. But I laughed. I mean, that's what's important in a comedy. It was so funny. I mean, there was only one other movie this year I seen that made me, and I miss some of the funny movies you watch, but this movie, I was almost hurting laughing sometimes. It was hilarious. I mean, even some of the juvenile jokes that some people were like, it's kind of juvenile. I guess I'm juvenile because it was hilarious.
Exactly. Yeah, this is so funny, man. Loved A Million Ways to Die in the West. What do you got at 11?
I actually have Amazing Spider-Man 2 at 11. The only thing I can say to add on to that, though, quickly was I think it being in 3D IMAX saved that film for me when I first walked out. So I don't know. I'm interested to hear from you once you watch it again on your Blu-ray player.
For sure. Yeah, because the IMAX definitely helped. It was good to look at. All right, so we're getting into that top 10, ladies and gentlemen. And at number 10 for me is a movie we kind of already discussed. It's Godzilla. Godzilla's number 10 for me. On my anticipated list, it was actually number 6. So obviously it did not live up to as much as I had hoped it to be. We already discussed it earlier, though, so there's not really much else I want to get into. But Godzilla is number 10 for me. What do you got at number 10?
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I don't have anything to add to that either.
Boom. So there you go. Godzilla at 10 for me and Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles for Pat at number 10. Going on to number 9. Let's see. What did I have this on my anticipated list? I had this at number 17. This was 17 on my
Wow.
anticipated list and number 9 overall, and that is The Purge: Anarchy. I loved this film. I liked the first Purge movie, but I was more of a fan of the concept of it. I felt like the first movie kind of got pigeonholed being like a home invasion film. It all took place like inside this house the entire night. And Purge: Anarchy took it to the streets. So you're out on the streets and you're trying to survive and the purge is going on. All hell's breaking loose. And it was so good, man. Frank Grillo is the main star of this film, and he was Crossbones in Captain America: The Winter Soldier. And I love this dude. He's so good. And in The Purge, if you're a fan of The Punisher, watch The Purge: Anarchy, and in your mind, just pretend Frank Grillo is Frank Castle, and that he's the Punisher. You will get such a kick out of this film. This movie is more of an action film than a horror film, which is what the first one was. And this is a good thing about The Purge as a series, is because every movie, every sequel could be in a totally different town with a totally different cast, and it's really got such a great concept of it, which of course, if you don't know, it's like basically every year, I think on March 22nd or 21st, all crime is legal overnight. Including murder, and anything goes, basically. And that's just how we keep society cool, because the rest of the year, everybody is polite and nice, and there's no crime, and that's because everybody lets it all out once a year during the purge. And, yeah, I just, I walked out of this one just like, that was awesome. And especially just how cool Frank Grillo was, and thinking, like, this is like a Punisher movie right here. So, Pat, I know you didn't get to see The Purge: Anarchy, but when you do, imagine him as Frank Castle.
Yeah, once you told me about it, I wanted to go see the new Punisher movie. I missed it. Apparently, I didn't know.
Exactly. It's in disguise as The Purge: Anarchy. Cool. So that was my number 9. Pat, what do you got at number 9?
We covered Hercules.
Hercules. Alrighty, there you go. Let's go on to number 8. Number 8 for me was, let me see on my anticipated list. On my anticipated list, it was number 11, and it came out number 8 overall, and that is Let's Be Cops. Let's Be Cops is a movie that when I saw the first trailer, I was like, hell yeah, this movie's gonna be the shit. And then I saw the second trailer, and I was like, I can't wait for this thing. And this was actually the last movie of the summer that we got to see. And boy, was it worth the wait. Jake Johnson, Damon Wayans Jr., these two guys lead. They pretend to be cops the entire film. They really get into it, and I'm not going to get into spoiler territory with it still yet, because it's actually still in the theaters. It's still in the top 10 at the box office. It's doing really, really well. I'm so happy about that too, because this is a movie that I thought like it could go either way, and they're just so funny. If anybody watches the show New Girl on Fox, I love the show New Girl. It's so funny. But both of these guys, Jake Johnson and Damon Wayans Jr., come from that show. So when I saw they were doing this movie, I was like, that's awesome, because I know their chemistry is so good on the TV show. I knew it was going to carry over into the film, and it did, man. These guys were so good, so hilarious. I mean, I was laughing my ass off from start to finish on this film. It also has Rob Riggle in it, and I love Rob Riggle. This dude is hilarious in his own right. I can't say enough good things about Let's Be Cops. I hope that they put out like an unrated version too. When it hits Blu-ray, I will definitely be buying this. I love comedies. It's probably my favorite genre of film to watch, and this one definitely lived up to everything I wanted out of it. So Let's Be Cops was number 8 for me. Pat, what do you got on Let's Be Cops?
It was fun. Definitely fun. I'm going to spoil it for people. They pretend to be cops. You know what? It was kind of a dark horse comedy. Like, I knew it was going to be funny, but I didn't know if it was going to be like everything that was funny was going to be in the trailer. Like, we discussed this. Remember, we thought, what if this isn't as good as it's going to be? I laughed so hard from beginning to end in this movie. Oh my goodness, it was so funny. I mean, and because there was like a straight man and a funny man, but the straight man was still funny because like I honestly thought that Damon Wayans Jr. was going to be uh, the funny guy in the movie. I think you did too, right? And
Yeah, I mean, he always is usually.
yeah, and he was kind of the straight man. But even being the straight man, and it made it funny. I mean, it was comedy gold. It was written well. It was acted well. It was all the punchlines were delivered well. I mean, that's more than I could say about most movies. I really actually started with this movie near the top, and it started dropping. But just because there was just greater movies, it is absolutely probably one of my favorite movies this summer. I mean, it's in there. I really enjoy it. I can't wait for it to come out, get out of the theaters so I can buy it up.
Yeah, buddy. It is awesome. I can't recommend it enough. What do you got at number 8?
We covered it. It was A Million Ways to Die in the West.
There you go. All right, let's move on to number 7. And number 7 for me on my anticipated list is number 9. So it was number 9 unanticipated, number 7 overall, and it was the Tom Cruise film Edge of Tomorrow. Or now that it's coming out on Blu-ray and DVD, it's been retitled as Live, Die, Repeat, Edge of Tomorrow. This movie's amazing. This was another one I saw in IMAX 3D. Really popped in IMAX 3D. And it was just so good, man. It's Tom Cruise, Emily Blunt. It's kind of like a Groundhog's Day type thing. Tom Cruise is in the military. He gets into this fight with these aliens. This alien blood kind of gets on him, which then gives him like the ability to kind of repeat the day. So every time he dies, the day starts over again. And it's like him learning and adapting and trying to figure out how to beat these aliens all within this one day, so he can, they could try to win this war. And Emily Blunt's somebody that used to have that power, so she kind of helps guide him through it and how to use it. Not only is the action amazing, it's a great sci-fi film, and it's actually really funny. There's a lot of good humor in this film as well. It really just hits. It's one of those summer films that gives you everything you want. And especially for me, the most I want is action and comedy together. And that's what this gave me. I'm a big Tom Cruise fan. There's not much that this guy does that I'm like, oh, that sucked. Like, I pretty much enjoy everything this guy puts out. I'm a big Emily Blunt fan. I think she's gorgeous, and she's a great actress. And I'm a fan of the director, Doug Liman. It just, everything hit on this film. It was a good gem of the summer, easily. So I can't recommend Edge of Tomorrow enough. I think this one actually comes out on Blu-ray next week, and I will also definitely be buying this one. So Edge of Tomorrow, number 7 for me overall. You saw Edge of Tomorrow, right? Yeah, we did the spoiler review on it. Yeah,
yep, we did. We watched it together.
Everything's blurring at this point for me. So.
It's cool. We watched it together. It's also my number 7, so there you go.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah. You know what? It was surprisingly great. It's a great film. I can't wait to buy it and watch it again. It's one of those films I think I could probably watch once a week. It would never get old. It's just time travel movies are a weird movie. It could get old. They could do it wrong, and they didn't in this one. I mean, everything about this movie surprised me. Everything about this movie was fun. You said it best, and I agree with you. I could watch them die on that beach scene over and over and over, and I could have watched 9 hours of them dying on that beach scene. It was phenomenal. And you know what? Emily Blunt, I just never really saw her in this type of character before, and she just home run all the way. I mean, the trailer caught my eye, but I didn't really. I'm a sci-fi nut. I'm a Geeky Pat, right? But it really surprised me how good it is. Again, this is another one I wish I could have put really high on the list, but things just beat it out. I mean, it is an outstanding movie. I'd buy it up as soon as I would pre-order it now. If I was somebody here listening, go pre-order the movie on Amazon or something, because you're not going to regret it. I want to see some of the deleted scenes and some of the behind-the-scenes stuff, so I'm very excited for the Blu-ray.
Yeah, there's going to be some really good stuff there. Yeah, can't recommend this one enough. It gave you everything you wanted out of this film, so definitely check out Edge of Tomorrow. Both of our number 7s. Going on to number 6. This was... Where is this at on my anticipated? Number 10 on my anticipated list. Number 6 for me is another comedy, and this one is Neighbors. And fun fact, Neighbors just hit Blu-ray today. So there you go. Go check that one out. I also just picked this one up, added to the collection. This one is Seth Rogen, Zac Efron, Rose Byrne is in this, and I love Rose Byrne, another actress that's just so sexy. Neighbors came out back in May, and this movie had me floored. I gave Neighbors 5 out of 5 stars. It was just it had me laughing on such a consistent basis. It's an R-rated comedy, so they didn't have to pull any punches. Everything hit on all cylinders of this film. This is the movie where Seth Rogen and Rose Byrne, they're a married couple. They just had a little baby. They move into their new dream house and move in, and right next door is Zac Efron and his fraternity. So they're throwing parties every night, and they're getting all wild and crazy. And Seth Rogen and his wife are going crazy because they got this little kid, and they're trying not to get involved in all this. And it ends up becoming this war back and forth, everybody playing pranks on each other. And it's just nonstop hilarity from start to finish. And I think for me, what really connected for me is the fact that I also have a little baby, and like the age range of Seth Rogen and his wife and the baby and everything really fit in with my world and my age range and everything. And so like I connected, and there's nothing better in a movie than when you really connect on a real level. So like I felt everything they were going through. I was like, that would be me. Like I would be doing that. Like I feel like I would be that way, and I'd be that protective over my daughter. And it really connected with me on all cylinders. And like I said, I'm a big sucker for comedies, and this one just was perfect for me. I'm a big Seth Rogen fan. Just like I was saying with Tom Cruise, there's not much Seth Rogen puts out that I'm like, oh, I didn't like that. I love everything this dude touches. He's a gold mine when it comes to comedy, and Neighbors was just amazing. So Neighbors, number 6 for me. Can't recommend it enough. Check it out if you haven't seen it. And I don't think Geeky Pat has seen it over here, so I'm going to have to let him borrow the Blu-ray.
Oh, yeah, definitely. I haven't seen it.
So good. So good. What do you got at number 6?
22 Jump Street, a comedy for me as well in number 6. Absolutely love this movie. I kind of knew I was going to love it going in, and it didn't really disappoint in that aspect. And I mean, not only was Jonah Hill and Mr. Tatum, who I'll never try to say his name on the air, and Ice Cube, they were just really funny. The dynamics between these guys are hilarious. But what really surprised me was that Jillian Bell girl from what is she from? Not Office Space, but Workaholics, right? Isn't that what she's from? Yeah. She was absolutely funny in this movie. She was like the bad guy, and I mean everybody in this movie. I really, there was a lot of laughs. There was a little bit of misses maybe, but even those weren't terrible. I mean, I think we were quoting this movie for like days afterwards. It was just absolutely hilarious. I mean, is it out yet? Can I buy it yet?
No.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Because it's absolutely one of the ones I'm going to buy. It made me get 21 Jump Street again, because it just reminded me how much I like that. I love that movie. So, yeah, it's definitely it earned its place at number 6 over even like Edge of Tomorrow and some of the other great movies. So.
Well, I'm pretty much right there with you, because look at that. 22 Jump Street is actually my number 5, which we're leading into now. So I will piggyback off of your number 6 and go into number 5 for me. I had to really think on this one because, like I said, I love Neighbors so much, and Neighbors and 22 Jump Street were both 5-star comedies for me, so it was very like, which one did I really laugh the hardest at? I edged it out a little bit to 22 Jump Street just because it was a sequel. I was already familiar with these characters. I love the chemistry of Jonah Hill and Channing Tatum, and Ice Cube was amazing, and Nick Offerman, and just everything going for it. So I had to go with 22 Jump Street. Absolutely love this movie. I'm not going to say I liked it better than 21 Jump Street, but it's close. I mean, it's like right there.
Yeah.
And if I maybe see it again, I might change my mind. funny thing with this one is my wife actually saw 22 Jump Street 3 times in the theater, which she never sees a movie more than once. Like, she laughs at me because I buy every movie, and she's like, "Why do you buy all these movies? You're never gonna want to watch a movie twice." And I'm like, "Yeah, I watch movies multiple times all the time."
Yeah, me too.
And she's just like, "Nope, one and done," and she's done. But she went and saw this movie 3 times with 3 different friends because she loved it so much. I mean, she cried during this film like I did, and it was just so funny. Jonah Channing, just their chemistry is just so good together. And just a couple weeks ago, they just greenlit 23 Jump Street, so we're getting another one. And it's just, I'm definitely going to be buying this. It's going to definitely go in the collection right next to 21. And absolutely loved it. This was my number 7 most anticipated film of the summer, and it ended up at number 5. So it's a big deal there, coming into the top 5 of the biggest movies of the summer, especially for a comedy out of all the big blockbuster, action films and stuff. So number 5 for me, 22 Jump Street. Pat, what do you got at number 5?
Oh, let me piggyback on that real quick. One thing I wanted to say is I'm excited about the Blu-ray for 22 Jump Street because I want to see all the stuff they cut out. I mean, there's got to be some hilarious stuff they cut out of that movie, and I want to see that behind the scenes. Like, the end of that movie is the best, by the way. The credit scenes.
Oh, my God. Yeah, classic. So good.
My number 5 was Let's Be Cops, so we already covered it.
Oh, there you go. Alrighty, ladies and gentlemen. So now, and look at that. See, Let's Be Cops higher than 22 Jump Street. That's crazy.
I love that movie.
So good. Yeah. So, all right. Number 4. We're getting into the nitty-gritty here. Number 4 for me, and let's see where it was on Anticipated. For Anticipated, it was number 5. So it was right there. Number 4 for me is Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. This film was amazing, and I knew it would be. For me, I loved Rise of the Planet of the Apes. I thought James Franco was amazing in it. We were introduced to this ape character named Caesar, motion captured by Andy Serkis, and it was just so riveting and so good, and I felt such a connection to the CGI monkey. It was insane. And so now here we are with the sequel taking place 10 years after the first film. Caesar's got his family, and they built up this resistance, and then you see this start of this war between the humans and the apes. And I mean, they took the motion capture stuff to a whole nother level on this one. Caesar just is one of the greatest CG characters I've ever seen. And I would not be shocked if Andy Serkis actually got an Oscar nomination for his portrayal of Caesar based off this film. I mean, that's how good it is. The Academy has never nominated motion capture before, but it's hard to ignore that with how good he was in this film. He was the lead actor in this. The first movie had James Franco really carrying it, but this one, Caesar is your lead character. And it hit on all levels, an emotional level again, an action level, and really leaves off with where the third movie is going to be going, which is the full-on war of the Planet of the Apes. And I can't wait to see the third one too, which is also already greenlit, coming in a couple of years. Such a good film. This was a favorite of a lot of people over the summer, and I'm glad that people supported it like they should have. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, number 4 for me. What you got?
It is also my number 4, believe it or not. I totally agree with you. It earned its place at number 4. I cared so much about these monkeys. I mean, not just Caesar, but I did connect to Caesar, but like the struggle between his son, Maurice. Oh, come on, man. He was just so likable, right? The thing with his wife, even the bad guy, which Kobo really isn't a bad guy, but he's doing it for the right reasons in his mind, but it's all the wrong things he's doing wrong. He's still a believable bad guy, I mean, there's like one character in here that I really didn't like much, and but that he was a human. It wasn't important. He was played by Kirk Acevedo. He played that Carver character. Remember, they were like, "Why did you bring that guy back in?"
Super annoying.
Yeah, that was kind of annoying. But everything else in that movie was well written. I mean, I didn't see a whole lot of story flaws. I absolutely just loved this movie. I really did. I can't wait for it to be released too. I actually almost went and saw it again because I found out it's still kind of in one of the cheap theaters. So I almost went and saw it again, but we ended up going to see something else, which I did not add to this list, which was The Giver, which would have been in round probably above Into the Storm. I just realized I forgot.
I thought you added it. We talked about that.
Yeah, I must have not have added it in when I thought I did. But yeah, The Giver would have been near the bottom. Anyway, not important. I didn't like that movie at all. I didn't like The Giver at all. Well, sorry about that. Yeah, we ended up seeing that instead. But I really, really liked this movie, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Awesome. So Dawn of the Planet of the Apes coming in number 4 for both of us. Number 3. This was my number 2 of the summer. So pretty close. And that goes to X-Men Days of Future Past. This film, what can you say, man? I mean, this film was incredible. And this also comes out, I think, in a couple weeks on Blu-ray, and I can't wait to get it and watch it again. I'm actually more excited for the director's cut that's going to come out around Christmas time, because then it's going to have all the rogue scenes put back in and all this deleted stuff put back in, and I can't wait to see the director's cut. On a quick little side note attached to this, breaking news as of yesterday, Bryan Singer is officially set to return to direct X-Men Apocalypse. So I'm very excited
Outstanding.
about that. But yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past, this movie took a concept I didn't know if they'd be able to pull off. And not only did they pull it off, but they did it in such a unique way. You know, we had our original trilogy of X-Men films, and then they kind of rebooted the franchise with X-Men First Class. And you thought, okay, they did First Class, they rebooted it, they're going to move on with this younger crew. Then this movie comes along and basically takes the older crew from the first 3 movies and then sends them back in time. And then you got the First Class crew. So you have this ultimate mashup movie that crosses these time travel elements to where you see like the original trilogy people that you loved, like Patrick Stewart and Ian McKellen and Halle Berry and, you know, all of that sent back in time with Wolverine still being played by Hugh Jackman, and then dealing with young Professor X, you know, with James McAvoy and Michael Fassbender as the young Magneto, and, you know, Jennifer Lawrence as Mystique, and you have the younger crew, but kind of in the same timeline of the 70s, and then they do this time travel stuff and they reset certain events, so then certain things didn't happen later in the thing. It's a little confusing. Excuse me. It's a little confusing, but, you know, in the end result, they really neatly tied up the franchise. And then they lead off with this awesome kind of post-credit scene showing you Apocalypse, because we know we're heading into X-Men Apocalypse in 2 years in 2016. This movie just killed it, man, on all cylinders, with the way it wrapped everything together, with the way they utilized both classes. Seeing James McAvoy talk to Patrick Stewart face-to-face, being the same character, and feeling that emotion. This movie was just so amazing, man. So amazing. I can't preach it enough. If you're an X-Men fan, you didn't see this movie, I don't know what's wrong with you. This was the biggest X-Men film of all time. It did excellent at the box office. It made almost $800 million worldwide, and I'm glad it did as well as it did. It definitely deserved it, and it makes me so excited to see what comes next in this franchise. But this movie it knocked it out the park, man. I saw it twice in the theater. Really, really enjoyed it. X-Men Days of Future Past at number 3 for me. Pat, what you got at number 3?
X-Men Days of Future Past.
Look at that.
I promise we didn't plan this. It just happened to be my number 3. I mean, really, it's up there. It's absolutely one of my favorite X-Men movies. I mean, it has a cast member named Bing Bing Fan. That's who played Blink. Come on, that's awesome. Her name's Bing Bing. But everybody in this movie is great. I'm a big fan of James McAvoy, Michael Fassbender. I mean, he's Irish. How can I not like him? Jennifer Lawrence, come on, she's one of the hottest stars right now. I mean, just all the cast was back there, but not only was it a fun ride and every character seemed to really be in character in this movie, it surprised me sometimes. The pacing was awesome. the emotional ride at the end when Wolverine's walking through that mansion at the end. Spoiler alert, I guess. And I'll give you 2 seconds to skip. Okay. So as he's walking in there and he sees Jean for the first time, and that whole scene plays out almost like it never, like there wasn't any gap between the first two movies. Does that make sense? Like, you know, get your hand off my girl. Why are you staring at my girl, Logan, or whatever he says, right? I mean, when Cyclops walks in, yeah. I mean, it was
great.
Emotional. It was great. It was this epic struggle. Then you had this, and after seeing Wolverine now, it even meant more to me because I could see where he was struggling with her death more, you know?
Oh, yeah.
It wrapped it all up in a nice, pretty bow, and now I'm excited to see what comes. The future scenes were fun. The powers, everything from how, like, you know, like the way Blink would throw somebody through a portal and he would come out and fight, and then, you know, it was just... It was really fun. It was really fun. I can't say that anybody in there really disappointed me. Like Dr. Bolivar Trask. I mean, Trask is an important character in the book, and he's a normal person. Is like, what I mean by normal? Don't get offended. I mean, he's tall. He's 5'12", right? In the comic, 5'11", which 5'12" would be 6 foot. But Peter Dinklage played him, and he's a little guy, right? It didn't take away from the film at all for me, for the character. He played the character very well. I still liked him. It surprised me because it's such a radical change, you know, to a character that I knew in the comic book and loved to hate in the comic book. He played that character so well in there that him being a midget didn't bother me at all. He's just an outstanding actor. And a lot of the acting in this movie is just that way. There's a part where Jennifer Lawrence was the same Mystique to me. Like, she almost completely bridged the two Mystiques for me at that point, you know?
Totally.
Yeah, it was just outstanding. I mean, really, it is my number 3 film.
Yeah, no, you know, really to piggyback off that, it's true, because there was a disconnect for me with Jennifer Lawrence's Mystique in First Class. But in Days of Future Past, her mannerisms, her fighting style, the way that she tilted her head, you know, just all these little things.
Yeah.
She really, like, encompassed Rebecca Romijn's Mystique and made that final kind of connection to that character, and it was beautiful. And, yeah, I mean, just really start to finish, everything that they accomplished in this film and were able to pull off was just amazing. So, yeah, X-Men Days of Future Past, just so good.
Quicksilver too. Oh my word, that scene! I think it's one of my favorite scenes out of any superhero movie. Almost, it was just so awesome. Just that one scene where everything was so meticulously planned and the special effects. It's you gotta get it. It's just an outstanding movie.
Yes, sir. All right, top 2. Number 2 for me was actually my number 1 most anticipated film of the summer, so it was close. It was close. But for me, at number 2, it's Transformers: Age of Extinction. You know, and the funny thing is, man, we were laughing at this, at just like how much hate is just being thrown around at this film. And with people just being like, oh, Michael Bay, and just explosions and robots and blah, 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 blah. It's Transformers, and this movie delivered. It really, really did. And I know, like, I saw this with Geeky Pat. We saw it with our boy Peeps. We saw it in IMAX 3D when it came out, and we all 3 loved it. You can listen to our spoiler review. And, you know, it delivered, man. It gave me everything I wanted. I'm a ginormous Transformers fan. Obviously, that's why it was my number 1 most anticipated, because if there's anything coming out, I'm going to go right towards the Transformers films. The first 3 are great to me. And especially Transformers 1 is one of my all-time favorite movies. And I was excited about this because it was like a soft reboot. It was, you know, several years after the events of Part 3. Mark Wahlberg was joining the cast. You had Stanley Tucci. You had, you know, Kelsey Grammer. I mean, they really stacked it with some great actors in there. They redesigned Optimus, and they brought in some other new Autobots. And you had, the Decepticons bringing in Galvatron, and you know, it had everything I wanted in the Transformers film. You know, for me, and a lot of people complained about the runtime of this film. It was about 2 hours and 45 minutes long, which is that's long. I mean, it's a long movie, almost 3 hours long. It was the longest of all the Transformers films. But to me, that never bothered me. I felt like the pacing was good. The action was keeping me so invested that the movie never dragged for me one time. I actually saw this movie 3 times in the theater, and I saw it 3 times literally within a 1-week time span. You know, I saw it opening night in IMAX 3D. I went like 2 days later, took my wife and saw it in IMAX 3D again, and then I saw it in normal 2D. And I just got to say, the normal 2D didn't even remotely hold a candle to what that IMAX 3D was in this film, because this movie was filmed in IMAX, and it was filmed with the IMAX 3D cameras, so the 3D really, really popped. Everything looked beautiful in IMAX, and then when I saw it in 2D, it just kind of fell flat for me in a lot of different areas. The movie was still cool, but it just didn't have that oomph that it did those first couple times seeing it in IMAX. But you know, Michael Bay, you say what you want about him. He's one of my personal favorite directors because I know what I'm going to get, and he always delivers on what I want, which is big action. And I'm a popcorn guy. I like the visuals, and I like big action and explosions and blow them up, and that's what I should get in a Transformers film, is a lot of destruction and cool effects. We got Dinobots. I mean, you can't beat Optimus Prime riding a Grimlock, wielding a sword. You know, I mean, it's the greatest visual of all time. So I had a blast with it. Like I said, 3 times in 1 week I saw in the theaters. It was absolutely phenomenal. Probably my second favorite of all the Transformers films out of the 4. So that was my number 2. So what do you got at number 2?
Same movie.
What?
Transformer Age of Extinction. And funny thing is Bing Bing's in this movie too. She was Blink in the last movie, and she was the assistant to Stanley Tucci. I don't remember her character's name in the movie though, because she was just his assistant. I don't remember if you know her name or not, but just thought I'd throw that out there. I'm really not a Bing Bing fan, just like her name. This movie was outstanding. I would probably say it wasn't my number 1 pick of the summer, but it was going to be like, if I would have had a list, it would have been like 2 or 3, right? I love the Transformers trilogy. The only problem with this movie is it had way too much explosions, way too much action, way too many Transformers in it, and I needed to know really if how Kelsey Grammer was going to be president one day, and if Shane Dyson was going to get his job. No, this movie gave me exactly what I wanted: explosions, Transformers. I mean, I don't understand people. How could they hated this movie because it had explosions and Transformers in it? I mean, I still don't get it. The story was great. There was nothing weird about the story or awkward. It didn't rewrite the action-adventure, but it did it so much better than any other movie. I would actually say, besides Transformers 1, this would be my favorite movie. I will always love Transformers 1 because just seeing Optimus on the big screen for the first time, it has this emotional purse string for me. But oh man, the Bumblebee was awesome. Some of the new Transformers were pretty cool. Even the villains, I liked how they kind of came apart and came together. I know some people hated that. I liked it. The Grimlock and the Dinobots, super awesome. The only problem maybe I could say I had with the movie was I would like to have seen more of the Dinobots and maybe a little bit more Autobots. And I hated that they killed some of my favorite character Autobots. And I mean, this movie wasn't just an action movie. I mean, you and me talked about it in our spoiler review, but when they were killing Ratchet and killing some other people, it hurt me. Like I hated that they were killing him. It was like, very emotional in that aspect that I didn't expect going to see this movie. I don't know about you. Did you feel that same way?
Oh yeah, totally. I mean, yeah, you feel for these robots. I mean, there was definitely a big connection to that, especially when it's a character that you followed for 4 films.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what? I didn't notice that it was... I've been in a lot of movies, especially the last one we saw, where it felt every minute. Spider-Man had moments where it was like, the pacing in this is just off. But this movie was almost 3 hours, and it could have been longer, and I wouldn't have minded. It
just went and it went and it went and it went. We were just following along on the ride.
Yeah, it was outstanding. A lot of people complained about the daughter and as they sit with the dad. I didn't mind it. It wasn't. I mean, it was all really good. I really enjoyed the movie. There were surprises in it. There was things I didn't think was going to happen. People dying that I didn't think was going to die. Me liking one of the bad guys in the end. I didn't think that was going to happen. It was just. I don't know. I mean, I could go on and on about how good this movie is, and that's why it's my number 2. It to this day, except for Transformers 1, it'll probably be one of my favorite Transformers. It'll be my number 2, probably.
Yeah, which is what I said. And if you want to hear more, definitely go back and check out our spoiler review of Age of Extinction, and definitely enjoy that. All right, ladies and gentlemen, it comes to that number 1 movie here. And probably by process of elimination, you're going to guess what it is. And obviously you could tell that it's going to be both of our number 1s as well, because we both have not mentioned this film yet. On my anticipated list, this was number 3 for me. And it ended up being number 1. And it's my favorite movie of the year as well. And it's definitely at the top of the solo Marvel Cinematic Universe as well for me. Number 1, ladies and gentlemen, is Guardians of the Galaxy. And like I said, this was number 3 on my list. I knew it was going to be good. I knew it would be a fun time. But I never expected it to turn out the way it did, which was nonstop, hilarious, amazing action, great visual effects, and a great story. I mean, this movie delivered on every single angle. I said earlier that the best combination for me is comedy and action. And that's what this movie gave us. It gave us Chris Pratt, who brought such an amazing tone to Star-Lord and Peter Quill that you can't help but instantly fall in love with that character. He killed it on every level. This was an ensemble picture that kind of gave us an Avengers feel because it's a team of 5, but didn't have to take 5 movies to build up to it. You know, you had Star-Lord, you had Gamora, played by an amazing Zoe Saldana. She is just the queen of sci-fi right now. You know, you had Mr. Dave Bautista as Drax. Once again, I'm a big wrestling fan, so I'm a ginormous Bautista fan, and seeing him get this opportunity as Drax, and he knocked it out the park. Rocket Raccoon, Groot. The group is just so outstanding. And then you have all these side characters. Everybody in the film plays such a cool role. We got to finally see Thanos do something, who was only teased in the after credit scene of the first Avengers film. And now we see Josh Brolin being Thanos. We had Ronan the Accuser, who was an awesome bad guy. I mean, this movie just had everything. It even had John C. Reilly in it, who was awesome.
Yes, he was.
You know, I mean, this movie once again, the pacing is incredible. The action is incredible. The humor is incredible. And I can't say enough good things about this film. I really, really can't. I saw it twice in the theater. I know Pat will tell you he saw it multiple times as well. You know, my in-laws even saw this movie twice in the theaters, and they've never seen a movie twice in the movie theater before. And that just goes to show you, like, how it crossed for all demographics. You know, all ages, all genders, all nationalities. I have not met one person that told me they didn't like this film. Everybody loves this film. And it's, as of right now, it's the biggest movie of the year domestically. It's made over $300 million. It's crossed $600 million worldwide. So far, Transformers is still the biggest movie of the year if you go worldwide, and if you go domestically, then it's Guardians of the Galaxy. So it's a big, big hit. In the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it just crossed how much Iron Man 2 did. So it keeps moving up the list in how overall the Marvel films have done. It's just so good. I mean, after 1 week, they greenlit the sequel. The sequel comes out in a couple years. I'm really hoping that the Guardians will join up with the Avengers in Avengers 3 to take on Thanos. That's really my hope. My fingers are crossed. And I can't wait to see more further adventures. Like I said, for me, personally, this is probably my favorite. If I had to break down like Avengers is still my favorite Marvel film, but I feel like if you take out the Avengers and you just look at the individual films, this would be up at the top there with Winter Soldier for me. So, my brother-in-law says this is absolutely hands down his favorite Marvel film of the year, which he had said earlier over the summer for Days of Future Past. That was his favorite movie ever that Marvel had done. And then Guardians came out, and he saw it 3 times actually in the theater and says it's hands down his favorite movie. Absolutely loved it. We also did a big spoiler review on this one as well, if you want to go back and check that out. But this was a no-brainer, easily, hands down, number 1 film of the summer. Like I said, even for the year for me right now is Guardians of the Galaxy. So, Pat, what you got?
Number 1 film for me, too, Guardians of the Galaxy. I'll be honest, I didn't have a lot of hopes for the movie. It was a obscure comic book I never was a fan of. It didn't seem like it was going to be this great Marvel. Matter of fact, when you look at the big picture of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, I just didn't think it was going to rank high. I mean, Avengers was outstanding, and then I was looking at, Winter Soldier. Come on, it was an awesome movie, and I just didn't think that this movie could top those kind of movies, I was so wrong. This is absolutely one of my favorite movies of all time, I would say. It is up there for me. I saw it 3 times in the same weekend. That's like every day of the weekend. Starting Friday when I saw it with you, ending on Sunday when I saw it again with the family. We had plans with another friend on Saturday, and he was like, I know we're supposed to go do this and hang out, but I really just want to go see Guardian of the Galaxy, and let's go. We just went and saw it again, and I saw it in every possible format. I mean, I just need to get it on my phone somehow so I could say I watched it in all formats. It was believable. The Rocket Raccoon stole the whole movie for me in a lot of ways, and you know what? I forgot Bradley Cooper did his voice. Groot was outstanding. I felt things in this movie, like it wasn't just this action movie that just made me like, oh wow, that's awesome, and look at those sci-fi effects. But I actually cared about the characters. There's parts where Rocket's like, I didn't ask to be built, he's like all torn up, and like Groot sacrifices, and I don't want to ruin too much of it because I think it's still in theaters.
Oh yeah, it's top 5.
I just realized that, yeah. So I need to stop. But I absolutely love this movie. None of the other movies actually were close to this one. I mean, Transformers was really close, but this to me is a distant one for all the movies that I saw this summer. It might be maybe all I've seen this year. I think Winter Soldier would be added into that, but definitely I love every character in this movie. And just for for Peeps, our boy Peeps, I loved Thanos' eyes. No, there's nothing about this movie. From the beginning, they start the movie off. It's probably the saddest beginning you'll ever see. Then it gets really fun, and it really changes your whole tone. It rips you emotionally from one way to another, and the whole movie's kind of that way. You kind of don't like the character, then all of a sudden you really like the character, and you don't know what's going to happen. And it was the funnest ride. A matter of fact, I want to go see it now just thinking about it again. And it'll never be on Blu-ray because it's never going to leave the theater. But when it does, I can't wait to buy this one. I mean, it's definitely, if there's a special edition, I probably will order it because I want all I really liked Guardians of the Galaxy.
Yeah, and I think, going back to something you just mentioned, which is the biggest shocker to everybody, is the fact of what kind of property this is. We've had Iron Mans, we've had Thors and Captain Americas and Hulks and Avengers. Proven heroes, proven properties. When Marvel announced they were doing a comic book called Guardians of the Galaxy, 99% of the world said, who?
Yeah.
I mean, honestly, like even hardcore comic book fans that I knew said, who?
Yeah.
I mean, that was that obscure. So for Marvel to take a very big risk and say, we're going to, they could have done Black Panther, they could have done Doctor Strange, they could have done, Miss Marvel. There's so many bigger names that they could have went with.
Oh, yeah.
And instead they said, now we're going to do Guardians of the Galaxy. That really is like, yeah, it's part of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, but it takes place on all these other planets. So it really doesn't connect to much else. It was a gamble. They put the movie out in August, which August is kind of like that month where they're just kind of wrapping up the summer. Nothing too big comes out in August. Expectations of this film was like, oh, it'll probably do like 50 million opening weekend. Then people were like, oh, maybe it'll hit 60. And then it came out and it did like 95. It killed in its opening weekend. And then once again, word of mouth. Everybody started seeing it. Everybody was loving it. Next thing you know, everybody's all about Groot. Everybody's all about Rocket. And once again, it's in the top 5. It's number 1 again. It fell out to number 2 when Turtles came out. And then it went right back to number 1 the following week. And it was number 1 again and again and again for like 5 weeks straight at number 1. And then, like I said, it's still in the top 5 right now. It is doing so well. The biggest domestic movie of the year. One of the biggest movies overall in the world. So big, so good, and it's a property no one knew. And that just goes to show the trust that people have in the Marvel branding. That they're like, oh, it's a Marvel movie, it's part of that universe. I know that universe. It has Iron Man in it. I'm going to check out this movie. And people trusted it. And now, once again, Marvel's proved that you're going to like whatever hell we put out. and people supported it. And I'm so happy for its success. And I think if you ask pretty much most people, Guardians of the Galaxy is going to pretty much top any kind of summer list that's going to come out.
I mean, even the characters in it, I didn't know much about them. I knew a little bit about Batista's character and some other stuff, but like when the Marvel Superheroes game came out for the online one that you play, they put in Rocket Raccoon and nobody knew who he was. And even the guys who made the games, like, there's so many much cooler characters. I don't want to put Rocket into this Marvel Heroes game. And they said, no, in about half a year, you're going to be glad you did. And they didn't know that movie was coming out. But so it was part of the agreement, so they made this character. And me and my buddy, who plays Marvel Heroes, we made fun of it because there was Squirrel Girl and Rocket Raccoon. I'm like, who the heck is Rocket Raccoon? I mean, I've heard about him. He was this guy in a green suit with big guns. I just there's no way this character's cool. I was so wrong. I mean, I was just so wrong. I mean, this movie changed my view on all those characters. Even Peter Quill. I mean, I don't think they could have picked a better actor for any of them, actually, but he did outstanding job.
Chris Pratt is amazing. He's a guy that I've always been a fan of. I've been a fan of everything pretty much that he's been in because he's such a good actor and he's always so funny. But he's always been a side character. Being Star-Lord is now going to open up those floodgates. He is the lead in Jurassic World that comes out next year, so he's going to lead the next Jurassic Park film. And the projects are just going to keep steamrolling in from there on. And I'm just very happy for his success. He definitely has earned it. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that is our top films of the summer. We're going to run down our list again real quick just to kind of wrap it up. So for me, number 20, Into the Storm, 19, Tammy, 18, Blended, 17, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, 16 was Sin City: A Dame to Kill For, 15, Expendables 3, 14 was Lucy, 13, The Amazing Spider-Man 2, number 12 is Hercules, number 11, A Million Ways to Die in the West. Number 10 is Godzilla. Number 9, The Purge: Anarchy. Number 8, Let's Be Cops. Number 7, Edge of Tomorrow. Number 6, Neighbors. Number 5, 22 Jump Street. Number 4, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Number 3, X-Men: Days of Future Past. Number 2, Transformers: Age of Extinction. And number 1, Guardians of the Galaxy. Pat, what's your 15?
Well, I'll bridge it because I didn't do it in the beginning. So number 16 would be Into the Storm. Number 15 would be The Giver. Number 14 would be Godzilla. Number 13 would be Maleficent. Number 12 would be The Expendables 3. Number 11, The Amazing Spider-Man 2. Number 10, Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. Number 9, Hercules. Number 8, A Million Ways to Die in the West. Number 7, Edge of Tomorrow. Number 6, 22 Jump Street. Number 5, Let's Be Cops. Number 4, Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Number 3, X-Men Days of Future Past. Number 2, Transformer Age of Extinction. And number 1 movie of all time, Guardians of the Galaxy.
Well, there you go, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you so much tuning in for our summer movie wrap-up of 2014. It's been a blast. It's been something we've been trying to get done here for the last couple of weeks since the summer ended. Things have just been crazy, but we got it out for you, and we hope you appreciate it and enjoy it. Let us know what you thought of the summer films. And so thanks again to my guest, Mr. Geeky Pat. Pat, where can people find you on the interwebs?
Definitely you can find me at reddragonsradio.com, reddragonsradio.com. I do that every time. Does that ever get tiring for you?
No, I love it.
Really, that's where you can get both my shows. This Week with the Geek and Out of the Rifts. This Week with the Geek is me just riffing geeky stuff and talking about things. And outside of the Rift is Palladium role playing base. Either you're a fan or you're not, so you either know what it is or you're not. But with both those shows, you could get me at on Twitter at geeky_Pat and at Facebook Geeky Pat. Also, you can get me at www.geekypatbroadcasting.com or geekypatbroadcasting@gmail.com.
Alrighty, good stuff there. Please follow along with Mr. Geeky Pat. And of course, you can follow me on Twitter at DXDonMega. Of course, follow the show at Am I On The Air. Like us on Facebook at facebook.com/AmIOnTheAir. And it's AmIOnTheAir.com. And of course, like Geeky Pat said, reddragonsradio.com, reddragonsradio.com, where you can listen to Am I On The Air? Am I Still On The Air? Like this episode right now. This Week with the Geek, Out of the Rifts, the People's Forum, Pro Wrestling Nation, the Brothers of Destruction podcast. There's a lot of stuff on reddragonsradio.com that you can listen to from the podcast world. Also follow on Twitter at Red Dragons Radio so you always know what's going down in the world of new podcast. So thanks once again for listening to our summer movie 2014 wrap up. My name is DONMEGA, and we'll catch you next time. Peace.
Red Dragon.